Okay, so let's talk about your brain or malnutrition again. Another thing that happens to many of us when our brains thinks that resources are scarce, and remember your brain thinks that resources are scarce if you go into energy deficit, i.e. you lose weight, your brain just thinks, oh, there's obviously not enough food around. Because for thousands of years, for humans, that would have been why people would have lost weight. Anyway, so famine, your brain thinks resources are scarce. We better hang on to things. And so many of us notice when we have anorexia that we're hoarders. And some people hoard lots of things, like everything. Some people are really specific to hoarding food. Some people don't hoard at all. But many of us do. Many of us do, enough of us for it to be a bit of a thing, you know. Safe foods are often hoarded. But sometimes, I mean, myself actually, I didn't just hoard safe foods. I hoarded any food. And my kitchen was this kind of sad place that there was lots of food in it that wasn't eaten. I would specifically want to hoard foods that lasted a long time, so long sell-by date foods. The other thing that I used to hoard though was weird things like plastic bags. This was before you had to pay for a plastic bag at the supermarket. Sometimes if I did buy some groceries, I'd actually take more plastic bags than I needed. And I'd hoard plastic bags. I had this cupboard that was just full of them. And I think it's because I did use them for things like, because I was too stingy to buy bin bags, I used to use a plastic bag to put my rubbish in and then throw that in the bin at the end rather than buy a bin bag. So I would hoard all these plastic bags so that I could do that. And just other things. Oh, cling film. Cling film, I would, if ever I use cling film, I'd try and wash it and reuse it. And I had this whole drawer full of used cling film. Anyway, now a lot of people are sort of know that they do this when they have anorexia, but they haven't really linked it up with anorexia. So you're doing it because your brain thinks that resources are scarce. And just imagine, like, what do animals do when they know that they're going into scarcity? They hoard things. Squirrels hide their nuts. In doing that, they are increasing their chances of survival in the future by making sure that there's a food source that they have accessibility to. It's a bit like you're preparing for the apocalypse. You know, that's what I felt like I was doing the whole time. I was always saving for a rainy day, even though I was living in England, there were plenty of rainy days. I was always not spending money now because I wanted to know that I had it to spend later. I was always not eating something now because I wanted to know that I had it to eat later. I was always, if anything was on sale, if anything was cheap, I was buying it up in stock and hoarding it in my cupboards. Needless to say, when your brain comes out of that scarcity mindset, and it does that when you prove to it that resources aren't scarce by eating lots of food consistently, thank you, Stinky, that starts to stop. I don't hoard anything anymore. It's really nice. Cupboard space for one, but I don't feel as weird for another. It's just not a thing. Like, it wouldn't occur to me to save a plastic bag, which is really odd. And I know it's good for the environment and all that, but it absolutely wouldn't even occur to me to do those things anymore. So it's just fantastic and amazing and wonderful how your brain does what it needs when it feels that it needs to do it, and then it completely shifts out of that. And all of those tendencies, compulsions and anxieties, because that was the other thing. I had anxiety about using a plastic bag. All of that goes away.